The entire country can be taken out in one night, and that night might be tomorrow night.
A whole civilization will die tonight.
Hey, by the way,
you think this is funny?
Talk about a hook, man.
Why are you?
You want to know a guy who knows?
Why are you laughing about a whole civilization dying?
Do you want to know about a guy who knows how to hook social
that's
media?
a hook.
That's a hook.
A whole civilization will die tonight, never to be brought back again.
If I don't laugh, I might cry.
Yep.
So this is like
that's how ridiculous and potentially serious it is. I don't want that to happen, but it probably will. However,
and I can hear him saying this, like it probably will is like so tongue in cheek. He's like, I don't want this to happen, but it probably will.
However, now that we have complete and total regime change, where different, smarter, and less radicalized minds prevail, maybe something revolutionarily wonderful can happen. Who knows? We will find out tonight. One of the most important moments in the long and complex history of the world. 47 years of extortion, corruption, and death will finally end. God bless the great people of Iran. Praise be to Allah.
Yeah.
Just kidding. He didn't say that.
Skipped over his
at the end of
Easter
it.
message.
Yeah. Well, I talked about that yesterday.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so this, in addition to his Easter message where he says that today, yesterday was like legs and back, and today is power plants and bridges. And so this is power plant and bridges day, and this is supposed to be happening at 8 p.m. tonight. I'm not in favor of doing that. Just so I think we've probably made that clear. This is a large population of people, and I don't think that we're going to win any hearts and minds. In fact, I think we'll probably harden the regime and way more people against America and rallying around the flag of their regime. Let's go into a little bit of news here, though. Here's a clip from CNN. I want to talk about this. There's this theory, like the madman theory, because people get all up in arms about stuff that Trump says, like this. And many people say, oh, that's just Trump being Trump. You know, he's hyperbolic, or this is just a negotiation and all of that. And so we're going to kind of build up to talking about that. Here's a clip going around.
Okay, the new threat from the president is that a whole civilization will die tonight, never to be brought back again. You say the president doesn't want to do it. Does being reluctant to end a civilization make it okay?
Again, I don't think we're talking about ending a civilization. The issue. So
you don't believe? Are you saying you don't believe, Congressman? Do you say you don't believe the president's threat? Do you say you don't believe the president's threat?
Infrastructure. It is their energy infrastructure and their civilian infrastructure, including roads and bridges. That will cripple the Iranian regime and certainly their economy. That is not something we want to do because, as Ron Johnson said rightly, we are not at war with the Iranian people. We want them to be free from this oppression and tyranny that they have lived under for 47 years. But if the president has to take necessary action to strike their energy and infrastructure, that is going to cripple the regime. That is what he is talking about.
You don't believe his threat. You don't take him at his word that he will end a whole civilization.
He is talking about the energy and civilian infrastructure. That's what he's talking about, John.
Is he?
I don't understand how you can. I mean, the Truth Social post literally says a whole entire civilization will die tonight.
Yeah, but listen, this is Trump we're talking about. All right.
No, I get it. I'm just saying if you're going to take the words at face value.
Yeah. The problem with this whole thing.
It doesn't say a whole energy infrastructure will die tonight.
Yeah. No, it doesn't say that.
It doesn't say all the bridges will crumble tonight.
It would be like really bad for a civilization to lose all of their power and, you know, all of their infrastructure.
Yeah, but he said die.
He did say
and
die.
Then he also said
the
never,
civilization. Say maybe that's what gives us civilization is all of this infrastructure.
Never to be brought back again.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I don't know how you prevent it from being rebuilt afterwards. You would think that they would eventually be able to rebuild simply just the power plants and the bridges. So they built them once and they could be destroyed and they could be built back again. So built back better. even. And so, yeah, that part is weird. And some of that is where people are going, oh, he's going to nuke Iran. This is the thing with Trump. You just don't know. Like last week, he said that Iran had no more air defenses or radar or anything like that. And on Friday, the F-15 gets shot down and we have, this crazy operation that happens and all that. Like he says that their air defense is completely destroyed. They don't have any more. After the thing last year, he said their nuclear facilities were completely obliterated. And then all of a sudden, clearly it's not obliterated. We have to go in because they're still amazingly 2 weeks away from a nuke or whatever. Like he just says these things, And so do I think this is a negotiating tactic? Probably. I just don't think it works anymore because he speaks in hyperbole at all times. And so... if you never really follow through on the crazy statements, the craziest of your statements, how long does that keep working for your negotiation? I just don't see it continuing to work, and it's not. It doesn't seem like Iran has given in or anything like that. Let me see what else we have. So speaking of this, this is just one specific one to respond to, but a lot of people are saying stuff like this. Clay Travis says, Donald Trump has made hyperbolic comments as part of negotiation tactics for a full decade, especially on social media. And yet people still run around like insane people reacting to his posts on here. I truly don't get it. And it is tough to explain because you have to think for like more than a minute here. And so this whole madman theory where like, yeah, he might do this or yeah, he's going to use this as a negotiating tactic, like, only works if you truly believe that he will do it.
Like you have to follow through on some of them.
Yeah. And
which by the way, I think he has.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously he did the 12-day war last year. He started this war. He took out the Ayatollah and the successor to the Ayatollah and like 14 or 15 different people. There have been, I think, credible threats that he has followed through on. But there's been others where he hasn't.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, we've been covering on the show. We've been in this negotiation where they had a deadline and then the deadline was extended because Iran gave us gifts of boats and
8 + 2,
10 total boats. We got through the strait. Then we were going to completely secure the strait, but then Europe was going to do it. Then Europe has to do it because they're the ones who need the oil,
we don't
not
need the
us.
thing.
We don't need it.
Mm-hmm.
Then we have this new regime is he even said it in this one where he's going to completely destroy civilization. He did say this new regime is more level-headed. They're gonna make a deal, close to a deal, but then we're not close to a deal.
Not at all.
And it's like this whole thing is like, I think he has followed through on some threats, which makes some of it credible. But I think on his biggest threats, he hasn't followed through on. Because I thought we were supposed to bomb the power plants like 2 weeks ago.
Well, but then some amazing new talks spurred out of nowhere,
and
they wanted to work, and the boats happened.
Yeah.
Don't forget the 8 + 2 boats.
Okay.
So the thing with this that's actually bothering me is, yeah, I get it. He makes these statements as part of a negotiation. We've said it a bunch of times. He's a negotiator. He swings for the fences in a negotiation, knowing that he's not going to get that. It's going to be somewhere in the middle, somewhere less than that, and we get it. But these things only work if people actually believe that there's a potential you're going to do it. And now we're at the point where even the people on the right are saying, come on, we all know there's no way he's actually going to do this. He speaks in hyperbole all the time. This is just the way he negotiates. But that kills the negotiation.
But by the way,
the whole point is you have to believe he will actually do it. And you're saying, oh, come on, there's no way he's actually going to do it. It's a negotiation.
Right.
But guess what? Iran has also existed for 10, 11 years now that Trump's been around all of us and knows that this is the way Trump talks. So this crap doesn't work anymore.
Yeah. So if Congress doesn't believe it, do you think Iran believes it?
Yeah, exactly.
So what?
If Trump's biggest supporters don't believe it, you think Iran believes it? No.
What would behoove them to actually take the threat credible if the people closest to him don't take the threat credible?
Yeah, it's just, and so now I'm like, well, why is he saying this? Because he also has to know he's a negotiator. he wrote the book on the thing, you know, as you said earlier from the office over there, you know, art of the deal, Nate. And I'm like, yeah, he also knows that too now that these people are aware that this is a negotiating tactic. So why is he saying it? And everyone around him is now, in order to defend him, saying crazy stuff all the time. They're now saying, come on, this is clearly a negotiating tactic. It doesn't work anymore after that. You know, it's like if I'm negotiating, you know, business deals or whatever, and I keep threatening to walk away from the table, but every single time I sign it, I walk away and I pee and I come back and I sign it afterwards. Well, eventually my threat to walk away from the table doesn't carry any water anymore, you know, it just doesn't work. Which then I get scared because like eventually he's going to have to do one of these things, you know, because there's other bigger countries out there that the threats matter with also. Mm-hmm. And so is he going to do one of the things sometime just to show people that he is this crazy madman who will do these things every now and then?
Maybe he wants the Artemis II crew to capture what it looks like from space when a nuclear bomb is dropped on top of Iran.
That could be the whole mission, or they could have been selected to be the last 4 remaining human beings, you know, and then they come back and they restart civilization afterwards.
3 guys, 1 girl. I think they got that backwards.
Yeah, they kind of went backwards.
Yeah.
But
hey.
It's not. What are you going to do? We got that. U.S. and Israel are striking Iran's oil, rail, and bridges ahead of the deadline. So they are hitting. They're hitting Carg Island right now. They're hitting rail lines, oil infrastructure, bridges already right now. So we're just going to see how tonight goes. I keep assuming it's going to be what everyone calls a taco, which is Trump always chickens out. I keep assuming it's going to be another one of those, you know, great opportunity to buy in the market today. They're going to announce these amazing talks that they're having around, you know, 2:50 p.m. or something like that, and that we're going to extend a deadline. But eventually, I think that's not going to be the case. You know, I don't think Iran is going to give in to any of this stuff, and eventually, I think that's not going to be the case. So, speaking of Iran, we've got a true human shield scenario happening right now where people are gathering around power plants and bridges in order to try and stop Trump and Israel from bombing them. You know,
that takes some balls, by the way.
It does take some balls. So that's all these people around the planet right now. This is happening also at bridges where they are lining the bridges, trying to stop them from blowing them up. You know, if I was at war with Israel, I would not think that putting a bunch of people on the bridge would deter them whatsoever. So like that does take some balls.
Deter Israel.
So it does take some balls for them to do that, because in my opinion, it makes Israel more likely to hit the bridges right now with all those people on them. So yeah, you see a bunch of people lined up on the bridges. They're going around interviewing people. Here's a lot of people holding their Iranian flags surrounding different pieces of infrastructure.
They got kids there.
There's kids there.
Woo.
And, you know, I'm like, how do I feel about that? If you think it's going to work, then sure. If you think it's not going to work, pretty gross to bring your kids there with you. So that sucks. But
maybe they were forced there.
Yeah, I mean, they could be forced there by the IRGC for sure. That they could all be members of the government or whatever that are surrounding all of these locations. That could be the case too. I just think if you take it at face value, it's pretty wild to see this. Like all of these, say, thousands of people that aren't attacking us. Like here we are sitting here in America, haven't been attacked by Iran. And here are all these people in Iran surrounding critical infrastructure where they get their power, where they cross some of the crazy terrain that they have there, putting their lives on the line right now, trying to prevent us from just blowing it up. And by the way, I have to mention one time, to prevent us from blowing it up in an undeclared, unauthorized war. We're talking about a non-zero chance that Trump could use nukes tonight in an undeclared, unauthorized war against a country who has not attacked us. They have retaliated for us attacking them, but against a country who has not attacked us. That is a level of disgust with our current system that I cannot explain. And the fact that this is not a bigger deal in Congress or in America just sort of shows you like where we are right now, that we've just become immune to this. This has just been normalized. We're just at war. That's just what we do all the time. We're just blowing up people on the other side of the world all the time. For who? No one knows. For lies. And then we find out they're lies. And we're like, oh, this next time, definitely not lying this time, for sure. And it's just over and over again. So the people who make the bombs can keep getting richer. And
look, at the I would say at the very least with Iran, at least we can trace back like terrorist attacks and things that have actually harmed Americans to like Iran's proxies and things like that. A little tougher to do with Iraq and some of the other countries, Libya, Afghanistan, could trace that back. But like, why are we not going to war with Pakistan? I mean, they housed Osama bin Laden, who you know,
they help us out with intelligence.
Oh, and they have nukes
in the region. Oh yeah, and nukes. Yeah, and their nukes.
Yeah,
that too. Speaking of why are we not done that and their nukes, Ben Shapiro kind of said out loud like why Iran would want nukes, and it's kind of the same idea right here. Now he frames it in this terrible, terroristic, authoritarian regime. They want to get nukes so they can keep terrorism and authoritarianism in their country, and so they want to get nukes so the people can't rise up against them. But here's a clip of him talking about this.
They've been reduced in their military capacity. Their ballistic missile launchers are largely gone. Their forward capacity with their terrorist arms, basically gone. Their nuclear program under mountains of rock. So what do they have left? How do they maintain power? With no economy, with no ability to pay their guys, with no forward capacity, what can they do? And the answer is the only thing that they can do, truly, is race to a nuke. That is the only thing they can do. They can race to a nuke. And that is what prompted, presumably, this current action, was the idea that Iran was so trapped, the only way they could break out was a breakout to a nuclear weapon and turn themselves into a hermit state like North Korea. So that is the reason why they won't just give up the nukes. If they give up the nukes, they're gone. They know it. If they give up their nuclear capacity or the race to a nuke, then they are a weakened military structure sitting atop a population of 90 million people, most of whom hate them. And that is incredibly dangerous for them. And so now the real question is going to be making permanent that state of affairs. Because let's say that the regime does not go down right now, which it probably will not. If the regime does not go down in the next few weeks, then the question becomes, how does the United States achieve its goals? Well, one, we obviously need to get the nuclear materials. That might involve some sort of special operation like the one we just saw to save the American pilots. And two, we can leave their economy in tatters so that they do not have the capacity to pay their own guys.
I thought we already did that.
Yeah, which is what pushed them into having to race for a nuke potentially in the first place with all the sanctions. Like he's kind of giving a lot of their arguments for them, unfortunately. And he's still talking about going in and getting the nuclear material. It's not possible to do.
Oh, dude, it'll just be a small little special operation, just like we grabbed the pilots.
Just a few guys.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's a lot of speculation that whole thing about getting the pilot was them actually actually a failed incursion to try and get some of the nuclear material, and a couple of planes got stuck or they were getting shot at and everything, and they just had to try and bug out. That I don't know. I will entertain that theory. It's certainly possible that they took something that was actually a failure and turned it into a movie in a few years or something like that. That's certainly possible. We can't go in and get the uranium. It's just not going to happen. Sorry, Ben, not going to happen. Let me see what else we got here before I move on to the next phase. JD Vance had some words, I think yesterday or this morning. Here we go.
But we feel confident that we can get a response, whether it's positive or negative. We're going to get a response from the Iranians by 8 o'clock tonight. I hope they make the right response, because what we really want is we want a world where oil and gas is flowing freely, where people can afford to heat their homes and cool their homes, where people can afford to transport themselves to work. That's not going to happen if the Iranians are engaged in acts of economic terrorism. So they've got to know we've got tools in our toolkit that we so far haven't decided to use. The President of the United States can decide to use them, and he will decide to use them if the Iranians don't change their course of conduct.
What tools are in the tool or in the shed? They haven't pulled out yet.
It's another thing where people are saying, okay, not sure. EMPs? Maybe? You know, you can still recover from that.
Is anybody tracking the Ohio class submarines and where they're at?
They're probably not. Probably all over there. All right, let's get to the next thing. I did like that he says what we want is a world where like the oil and gas can move freely and we can have affordable stuff. I'm like, yeah, you're talking about like February 2026. Is that what you're talking about? Is that like, I love that the goal of the war has become trying to fix what the war created.
And now they've committed economic terrorism.
They're doing, and that's why we had to do the wars, because now they're doing economic terrorism in response to us doing the war. See? Yeah. Bret Baier talked to Trump. Let's see what he said.
I just got off the phone with the president, and he called, and I said, listen, if you were to put odds on it, what were the odds that this is going to end up being a negotiated deal? He said he wasn't going to put odds on it, but he said 8 p.m. is happening.
Because polymarket
That's
exists.
what he said. He said, it is, if we get to that point, there is going to be an attack like they have not seen. Now, he's sticking to that at this point. Now, he said if negotiations move forward today and there is something concrete, that could change. But at this hour,
maybe they'll send some more
he didn't want
boats.
to put odds on it, but he said it is moving forward with the plans that we have. That's a huge deal. And obviously, we all think that it's a thing that he's putting out there to say, don't do this. He says he doesn't want to do it, but he is, at this hour, sticking to it and saying it might be likely if they don't.
Yeah, there's a whole lot of...
No, send them some more boats.
Yeah.
Send more boats through. Last time that worked.
This time we could get 20 plus 2 boats. Or maybe 8 plus 10 boats.
They doubled their
There's
gift.
potential, you know?
They doubled their prize. They said, Trump, double or nothing. Double or nothing.
One thing that still makes me think there could be nothing happen tonight, nothing like world changing or whatever tonight, is they keep having these outs. Like he just said, I talked to Trump, and he said, well, you know, we're having talks to them today, and it depends on how the talks go, if we get anything concrete. In his an entire civilization will die post from Truth Social, he said, but we are dealing with more reasonable people, you know, so who knows what could happen. Like there's been these outs that I don't think there's any case for them actually having talks with Iran that go anywhere, just so you guys know. What I mean is there have been plenty of outs and hedging thrown out there where if he decides, he can say, well, we're having great talks, you know, let's extend the thing. Let's have a ceasefire or whatever. We'll just say that we've agreed to a ceasefire. And then when they fire on one of us, they'll say, well, they broke the ceasefire. Here we go. We got to go again. And we just never talk to them, you know, because why would they?
My concern is, like, let's say something big does happen tonight. Is there any retaliation from the Chinese or the Russians? Like, who does business with Iran? Who is invested in Iran? Obviously, Iran had a lot of Chinese defense weapons. There's some relationship there. I think there's definitely a relationship with the Russians. So does a big player step in if we do something big? Like, that's my biggest concern. I'm not worried that Iran is going to, hit us back, really. I mean, obviously, they've been decimated. All of their ballistic missiles are gone, pretty much.
There's basically nothing left.
There's nothing left of the regime or any of their military powers. So I'm not concerned about Iran. But what if China or Russia or some other major power decides to use this opportunity when America is weaker, we've spent a lot of our munitions, we're $40 trillion in debt, and now might be the time to unseat America as a world power, as we've stretched ourselves so thin across the globe. Now, that's a huge risk, of course, still, because America has a lot of might left, but what's the damage during
I don't think they have
something like that?
I don't think they have to do that. They're just going to let us do that on our own. We're clearly on a very straightforward path to destroying ourselves on the world stage without them having to expend a bunch of money to do it. The other thing is, I don't think they really care what we do to Iran. I think their relationship with Iran is just to find a way to keep us bogged down, spending a bunch of money and blowing a bunch of munitions in Iran, the same way that like we, funded what eventually became the Taliban in Afghanistan to fight, to fight the Soviets. It's the same thing. All these proxy wars. We're funding Ukraine in order to fight Russia. Right? Like we're already fighting Russia right now, and this is just another proxy battlefield where they can get us to expend a bunch of resources in this country by supplying probably intelligence to them. Because we blew up all their radars, and they don't have anything like that. So probably they're providing a bunch of intelligence, and they've got some Chinese weapons and stuff like that. So I don't think they're going to see us do something to Iran and step in or anything. I think it's exactly what they want. They're just sitting back and watching us blow away all of our money. China, for sure. Like there's not a lot of proxy stuff, really, even with China.
Is this their move to take over Taiwan, though?
Yeah, maybe.
Everything's made in Taiwan.
I mean, I think they'd let it go on. I think they'd let it go on for a little bit longer because, you keep this thing going on a little bit longer, we're going to just keep pulling weapons out of the Pacific and make it easier and easier for them to take Taiwan. So I don't know if it's time for them to do that yet. China,
all I'm saying is that's like my biggest concern.
Yeah.
Is thinking what other scenarios might take place that are not possibly being thought about.
I think if we use a nuke tonight or at any time in this conflict, then we're in like a definite, that is a change in the world, and it will be different, not just for the people of Iran, but for the people of America for generations afterwards, if we resort to doing that. Look at China, though. I mean, they don't exactly get into a lot of wars with people. Like we talk about how they're this big bad enemy that we have all the time. But of course, like we still allow them to send packages to each one of our houses like 4 times a week, but they're like our number one enemy in the entire world. And they, for all we know, they could have 30 bombs in your house right now, But yeah, they just send everything over here, and they're listening to us right now, probably watching us too. And they just, they spend a bunch of money building up their infrastructure, and I'm not supporting like China's economy. Well, actually, technically, I am supporting China's economy with all the stuff that's around right now.
The stuff you have.
I'm not supporting their economic policies. I'm just saying, man, would it be crazy if all of that money, instead of just getting blown up on the other side of the world, had instead either been left in our hands, not printed, and created inflation, or even if they were going to do all that stuff, they used it to, say, build bridges and subways and stuff like that. That's like my last, the last thing I'd want them to do. I'd rather them just not take it or not create it out of thin air. But that's what China's
leave it in
doing.
the hands of the productive people.
Yeah. Yeah.
That would actually make America great again, by the way.
So, yeah. So
that's the America First principle, is allow its citizens to keep more of their money so that they can then build things that make America great.
Mm-hmm.
That's how you make America. That's the formula.
Yeah.
By the way, that satisfies MAGA, America Firsters, like anybody who actually cares about what's happening in America and the prosperity of Americans. That's the formula. I just gave it to you. That was from Nate's secret book, and I just gave it to you all live right here
Yeah.
on the show.
My book says YouTube underlined, and I still forgot to say, like, comment, and subscribe. I turned on this ticker thing that I made, and I knew I would do it. I forgot about it, and so it's just been running for like the last 20 minutes. I was supposed to run it for like 10 seconds. And then LPTN. These are things I was supposed to mention at the beginning of the show, and here we are 38 minutes into the show. The LPTN is because we're doing the LPTN convention. Don't do it because we're going there or anything, although you can come and hang out with us. But the LPTN convention is in Chattanooga this weekend, and you can come hang out. And we will be moderating what is currently Tennessee's only gubernatorial debate with at least 4 candidates, 2 Republicans, an independent, and a Democrat that are signed up to be there right now. We're going to try and get some more of them. And you can come there and you can even ask them questions if you want to.
Yeah, Marsha Blackburn definitely has not responded, but
no, there's this, no. But there's the newest thing now where like the presumptive nominee or like a power move is to not debate your opponents. Or it's like a total just bitch out move because your opponents could completely destroy you and show how much of a hypocrite and terrible candidate you are if you actually gave them the opportunity. And so you just decide to not do it, like how Ed Galrine is not going to debate Thomas Massey, even though it's going to be a hotly contested race. It is a hotly contested race, and refuses to have a debate.
He would just get smoked.
So he's just not going to. But it's like a power move. I see people out there posting like, why would he debate Thomas Massey when he's got this big lead and Massey's polling at 9% or whatever lie Trump has said recently, that's just a new thing that's happening. So yeah, LPTN convention in Chattanooga, lptn.org, because I don't know any of the details. There's that right there.
It's this weekend and it's in Chattanooga.
That is what you need to know.
Those are part of the
Just
details.
go to Chattanooga and follow the sign. So we'll have some balloons at the driveway and
bring a gift.
Yeah.
You can look at the registry at lptn.org. There we go.
I just have
It's a party,
a
man.
few random clips from Trump's press conference yesterday. Let's play them and see what they are.
Of years. Now with Venezuela, and we just so you understand, the people of Venezuela, they say if I ran for president of Venezuela, I'm polling higher than anybody has ever polled in Venezuela. So after I'm finished with this, I can go to Venezuela. I will quickly learn Spanish. It won't take too long. I'm good at language. And I will go to Venezuela. I'm going to run for president. But we're very happy with the president-elect that we have right now, the of years.
Since I'm down here, I'm going to learn Spanish very quick. I'm good with language.
Muy grande.
It's going to make Venezuela great again. Now, I would love for that to happen.
Yeah.
My God.
In fact, I think you should go do it right now.
That would be incredible.
That'd be awesome. Okay, here's a little bit of
Imagine
Iran.
if Trump's life was just he was hopping around to different countries becoming president of them. That would be fantastic.
Here we go. Here's some Iran stuff. Anyway, that's my favorite one right there. No, hold on. Let me turn that down.
Go ahead, please. Yes.
Thank you, Mr. President. You said earlier today during the egg roll that you would like to take Iran's oil, but Americans want U.S. forces home.
Correct.
What's that trade-off?
If I had my
Does
choice,
it take too
if I had my
much
choice,
time?
yeah, because I'm a businessman first. With Venezuela, as you know, the war was over in about 45 minutes.
War.
And we have great people running Venezuela, very good people. I mean, the relationship is good. And we are a partner with Venezuela. And we've taken hundreds of millions of barrels, hundreds of millions. Over 100 million barrels already is in Houston, refined and out. And paid for that war many, many times over, many times over. You know, the old days, to the victim. Okay, you know that. To the winner belong the spoils, go the spoils. And I've said, why don't we use it? To the victor, go the spoils. And we don't have that. We haven't had that in this country probably in 100 years, because even the Second World War, you look at the Second World War, we didn't have it with the Second World. We helped rebuild all those countries. We rebuilt Germany. How about Germany telling us, Germany telling us that, well, it's not their war. We had nothing to do with it. They wanted me to go and tell them everything I was doing. We didn't know anything about it. Well, if I would have told them, they would have leaked it, and we wouldn't have been nearly as successful, possibly, right?
That's fine. I don't really care about the end of that part. Okay, to the victory of the spoils. I did want to take that opportunity to say that the Venezuela thing is crazy. Obviously not as we expected. I don't know if that just means that we were way wrong or whatever. I would say I had a misunderstanding of what the plan was in Venezuela. I thought we were trying to take out the Maduro regime. And I didn't realize that we were just trying to put the number 2 in the Maduro regime in charge of the Maduro regime. And then that's it.
And then become good business partners.
And then everything is fine after that. You know,
Yeah.
I didn't realize that part. Like Maduro was running these boats, you know, that definitely had like fentanyl on them or whatever. And that's why Americans are dying. The boats are still happening, by the way. We're still blowing up the boats. Even though Maduro's, even though Maduro is, you know, in prison in New York or whatever, the boats are still running. And now, because I guess we have a good working relationship, it's just really weird because Maduro was also offering to just be completely in business with the United States beforehand. Sure. So I just had a complete misunderstanding of the goal of that operation. I thought it was to put like a democratic regime in place in Venezuela because Maduro was a dictator, and turns out like the only goal was to arrest Maduro and then just keep the same people running the place after that. I don't know. Pretty weird. I think I pretty much
now they're good
exhausted all the
business
clips.
partners, though.
They are.
Nate.
Yeah.
I mean, that's what we wanted.
Mm-hmm.
We've already processed hundreds of millions of oil. It's in use, actually. We took it, it's been processed and refined, and it's already in use. In fact, you might have pumped it into your car this morning.
I might have. And maybe that was in preparation, knowing that we were going to be doing this in Iran. You know, we needed to bring some oil onto the market, you know, something like that. Here is one more clip. We'll get out of here.
Iranians would be mad if you stopped these attacks. But why would they want you to blow up their infrastructure, to cut off their power? Wouldn't that be punishing Iranians for the actions of the regime?
They would be willing to, and it's suffering. They would be willing to suffer that in order to have freedom. The Iranians have, and we've had numerous intercepts. Please keep bombing. Bombs that are dropping near their homes. Please keep bombing. Do it. And these are people that are living where the bombs are exploding. And when we leave and we're not hitting those areas, they're saying, please come back, come back, come back. These are the people. I don't know what they do. All I can tell you is they want freedom. They have lived in a world that you know nothing about. It's a violent, horrible world where if you protest, you are shot. Remember the great woman?
So the people, we have really good intelligence, and we are figuring out that they, what are you seeing up there?
Hair floating around.
The people want us to keep bombing them, and that is what we are going to do, Charlie. There's our news roundup for today. That's what's going on.
Human intelligence, you know, people that we have on the ground that aren't on the ground, they're intercepting these messages.
But I want some good speculation right now from you and from anyone in the group that wants to let us know as well, and from anyone on YouTube who wants to comment as well. Some good speculation. What happens tonight at 8 p.m. Eastern time?
I think something's going to happen. I do. I think there's going to be some type of escalation. The reason I say that is we continue to move troops into the area. More people are getting called up. Trump made a comment about how we have, was it 40 or 50,000 troops in South Korea?
There's 50,000. Oh, in South Korea?
I think in South Korea to keep the line stabilized or whatever it is. I think there's going to be some type of escalation that happens. And I mainly say that because of the buildup that's been taking place with troops and all sorts of other things. So I don't know what that looks. I don't know what that is. You know, is it some type of ground invasion?
Are you talking about the 50,000 troops that are in the Middle East right now?
Yeah.
That would be going in? Okay, because you said South Korea.
Well, he did make that comment.
Oh, okay.
I'm saying Trump made that comment.
Okay.
Meaning, we have like 40.
We got more people to throw.
I think I saw that there were some other groups being called up. I don't remember exactly, but I saw that it on X. It's true, obviously.
Definitely true. If it wasn't, there'd be a community note.
So I think some type of escalation is going to happen. I don't see some great deal being made by 8 p.m. tonight. So Trump is going to have to make good on some kind of promise. Now, is that a nuke? I don't think so. I really don't. I would be shocked, horrified if that happens. I think the world would be like, what? Trump doesn't know what he's doing.
Mm-hmm.
Are they going to take out the energy or power grids? Maybe bridges. They're already taking out bridges. Whether they're just going to keep doing it tonight, I don't know. And I don't think we're going to reach some kind of negotiation. It doesn't seem as if this new regime is any better than the previous one. They don't seem to be backing off, although that they sent 8+2 boats. That's
true.
the only thing I can see from this new regime that they're willing to negotiate. They'll send gifts in the form of boats going through the strait without any interruptions. That's it. That's my prediction. What's yours?
I think, I also don't know what's going to happen tonight. I would say escalation, but it's not going to be the total war against the power plants and bridges that I think they're going to have to at least hit like one major power plant in order to follow through, and then kind of use that as a warning and say, see, we don't want to do all of them, but that's what it's going to look like. It's us hitting that power plant right there. Maybe hit it with Moab or something just to make it look even scarier, when you do it. I don't see the escalation to a nuke or anything. You can't take the way that Trump talks about things seriously anymore.
Though?
It'd be pretty crazy. I don't know. I don't even know how to approach talking about that happening.
I mean, not that those matter.
Like all of these are war crimes. The hitting of the civilian infrastructure is supposed to be a war crime, but that's all international law stuff. And
what's the likelihood that the Democrats win the midterms and Trump gets impeached?
Like impeached and removed, or impeached?
Impeached and removed.
0. It's not going to get removed.
Okay.
No.
Even if the Democrats take over both?
No, they'd have to have. You got to have at least 60 votes to remove.
Just change the rules.
I don't think they can do that on removal.
I think they can.
No, I don't think they can do that for removal, but someone in the group can let me know. No, I'd say 0 that he gets removed. Absolute 0. Like impeachments in the House, sure. He could probably rack up 3 more of those before he gets out of office. if he does it, if he does everything right, he can maybe get 3 more of those things before he gets out of here.
All right, well, send us your predictions on YouTube. Comment, send us your prediction. We'll take it into consideration. Likely tell you you're wrong, but we want to hear them at least. So leave a comment on YouTube. Share it around with your friends, your family members, and your foes. Leave us a rating and review on Apple Podcasts and Spotify. And go to GodHatesFeds.com. Be part of the Fed Haters Club, where you can discuss all of this in great detail before the show, during the show, sometimes after the show, although most of the time we have to go right away. But you are free to interact with this community. There's some new people in today, so appreciate you signing up and be part of the group. Longtime listeners coming in.
Some of them saw my plans for time travel.
Yes.
Or explaining. I was just giving a rough explanation of how time works.
Luckily, the light is so bright that it.
Yeah, you really can't see it. It kind of washes it out.
Yeah, but Nate's Book of Secrets,
it's like invisible ink,
is right there.
Yeah, as you can see, like the light just totally washes it out when you look.
Look at that.
It's an actual blank page.
I know. Yeah.
Oh, dang it. I screwed up the joke. My bad.
And tomorrow we'll be going live from the
the fallout shelter.
No, I was actually going to say that we're going to be going live from the Orion space capsule.
Sure.
To prove that it's real.
Yeah. For sure.
We'll put the green screen behind us here. And
are we ever going to talk about the moon landing?
They didn't land.
Oh, so you're a denier.
Well, this mission, I'm saying, they didn't land.
Okay,
They just.
okay. I got you.
You know what they did is they took a very similar path to like Apollo 13. They just went a little further out.
It went way further out.
So yeah, now they're the farthest people to ever make it in space. I guess alive, because I think other people have probably drifted in space somewhere further.
I don't think that happened. Now you're just making stuff up.
How do you
All right,
know?
let's go.
Were you in Egypt when they built the pyramids? Exactly. You don't know. Anyway, do all those things I said to do or don't. I don't really care, but Nate does. He loses sleep overnight if you don't do it. So please consider that if you care about Nate. And if you do, then we'll be back again potentially tomorrow. We'll
see.
Now we don't know when, because this show is literally when we want to. So until then, I hope you have a good day and a good morning, Liberty.
They came in so fast and so hard, and these guys knew exactly what to. Let's go, come on, get in, let's go. Blah. They came one right after another, not at the same time. They don't want to come at the same time. They had to come right after each other. They didn't have any room.